On January 23, 2026, the entertainment world woke up to a shock that nobody had seen coming. New scandal rumors surrounding Can Yaman, and this time, the silence around him only made the entire situation even more intense. For weeks, fans and the media have been questioning why Can suddenly reduced his public appearances, why he avoided interviews he had previously confirmed, and why his social media presence dropped to almost zero. Today's circulating headlines suggest that this silence was not random at all, and that something behind the scenes has been building for quite some time. The first spark came from Italy 2 days ago, when a well-known entertainment journalist hinted that a major disagreement involving a high-profile Turkish actor was about to surface. Even though no names were mentioned at that moment, everyone understood who it referred to when the same journalist liked a comment on social media that said, "Is this about Can Yaman?" From that moment, speculation exploded. But what makes today's situation even more dramatic is a second detail that appeared this morning. A leaked report claiming that Can had a heated confrontation with someone from his inner circle during the preparation of a new project. The report did not specify what the disagreement was about, but it described the atmosphere as high tension, unexpected reactions, and emotional pressure. As soon as this claim went public, fans went into full investigation mode. Some pointed out that Can had shared a cryptic message earlier in January: "When you choose peace, people think you are hiding something." That single line resurfaced everywhere today, being reinterpreted from a completely different angle. Many now believe the actor was hinting at an internal conflict long before anything became public. Meanwhile, in Turkey, another rumor began circulating. That Can had rejected a collaboration request at the very last minute, leading to disappointment among several industry names. No official confirmation was given, but the timing matched perfectly with today's news storm. What intensified the situation further was a short video captured outside a studio in Rome. In the footage, Can Yaman is seen leaving the building quickly, avoiding questions, and visibly frustrated. His expression, serious, tense, and distant, only added fuel to the fire. Fans immediately filled social media with comments like, "He looks tired, something is definitely wrong, and he's hiding more than we think." All of this created the perfect storm for today's scandal headlines. The public still doesn't know the full truth, but everyone agrees on one thing: something has changed around Can Yaman, and whatever is happening behind the cameras is significant enough to cause a visible shift in both his behavior and the reactions around him. As the story continues to evolve throughout the day, the biggest question remains: is this scandal the result of a personal issue, a professional conflict, or something deeper that nobody has expected yet? As the hours passed on January 23, 2026, the situation surrounding Can Yaman grew even more complicated, and what started as scattered rumors began to take the shape of something far more serious. Early in the afternoon, a new claim surfaced from a source close to the production team allegedly involved in Can's latest project. According to this insider, the conflict that ignited the recent scandal reports was not a simple disagreement but a buildup of unresolved tension that had been growing for months. The individual described the atmosphere as emotionally charged, unpredictable, and far more personal than anyone realized, suggesting that whatever happened was deeply connected to trust and expectations rather than ordinary professional friction. The most shocking part of the insider's statement was the mention that Can had walked out of a critical meeting after something was said that crossed a boundary he could not ignore. Although the source refused to detail what that statement was, the phrasing alone was enough to send fans into a frenzy. Social media quickly erupted with theories. Was it a betrayal by someone he trusted? A disagreement over a role? A personal issue tied to the people closest to him? Nobody knew for certain, but everyone felt that the situation ran deeper than the surface-level headlines suggested. Meanwhile, several Italian entertainment pages began reposting older clips of Can from last year, pointing out sudden shifts in his demeanor. In particular, a widely shared interview moment resurfaced where Can hesitated before answering a question about whether he still trusted everyone in his professional environment. At that time, the pause had been interpreted as introspective or emotional, but today, that moment took on an entirely new meaning. fans now believe that his hesitation reflected early signs of internal conflict that had gone unnoticed. As speculation intensified, the hashtag what happened to Can Yaman began trending across multiple platforms, especially after a second video leaked showing Can leaving a private venue late last night. This time, the actor appeared visibly exhausted, keeping his head down while quickly entering a car with tinted windows. The person recording the video whispered, "He's avoiding everyone again," and that single sentence spread like wildfire across international fan communities. In Turkey, commentators on celebrity programs debated whether the scandal was being exaggerated by the media or whether something truly significant had happened that the public had yet to understand. Some insisted that Can had withdrawn because he needed space, while others argued that major tensions were unfolding behind closed doors. Adding even more weight to the story was another rumor that a planned announcement from Can's team, expected earlier this month, had been quietly postponed without explanation. Many now believe this delay was directly connected to the issues being reported today. But perhaps the most unexpected development came from a well-known journalist who claimed that someone Can once trusted deeply is involved in this situation, though no names were given. This single line sent shockwaves through fandom circles, prompting countless discussions about whether a close friend, a former collaborator, or someone from his personal life might be at the center of the tension. As of now, no side has issued a clear statement, which only amplifies the sense of uncertainty. The silence from Can and his team creates a vacuum that the media and fans are rushing to fill, each adding another layer to a story that feels increasingly complex. Everyone is waiting for a sign, anything, that might reveal what truly happened behind the scenes. Until then, the mystery surrounding Can Yaman only grows, pulling millions of eyes toward every new detail that emerges. By the time evening arrived on January 23, 2026, the Can Yaman scandal had transformed from a simple rumor into a full-scale media storm, with new layers emerging faster than anyone could process. What made the situation even more gripping was that each new detail contradicted or expanded the previous one, creating an atmosphere of confusion and urgency that the public could not look away from. The turning point came when a well-known Italian presenter claimed during a live broadcast that the conflict involving Can was triggered by a moment of deep disappointment, something described as both unexpected and emotionally heavy. According to this version, Can had trusted someone with a sensitive matter connected to his upcoming work, only to feel completely blindsided when the information was handled in a way he considered disrespectful. The host emphasized that the tension was not about ego but about boundaries, something that aligns with the personality Can has shown for years: passionate, intense, protective of his values, and unwilling to compromise when those values are crossed. As this interpretation spread, fans began revisiting every recent sign they had previously dismissed. Many pointed to the sudden shift in his social media captions, especially one in late December that read, "You learn who is truly with you when the noise disappears." At the time, most people assumed it was just introspection, but now, that line reappeared everywhere, analyzed in slow motion, treated like a puzzle piece that had been missing until today. Meanwhile, Turkish media insiders began reporting that Can had been preparing a major transition in his career, possibly a shift in management or a restructuring of his team. If true, such a move could easily have created tension, especially if different parties had conflicting visions. One commentator suggested that the current scandal might be the result of a clash of expectations between Can and someone who believed they had more influence over his decisions. Although this theory was speculative, it spread rapidly because it matched the patterns fans had noticed: the withdrawn behavior, the cancellations, the change in tone. Another major shock appeared when a private photo began circulating online. The image, reportedly taken a few nights ago, showed Can sitting alone at a quiet Rome cafe, looking deep in thought, with his phone placed face down on the table. The composition of the moment felt symbolic, like someone trying to disconnect from both people and noise. Fans expressed concern, commenting that he looked tired in a way that wasn't physical but emotional, almost as if he was carrying a weight behind his silence. What added yet another twist to the unfolding drama was a short statement from a figure in the Italian entertainment industry, who wrote cryptically, "Sometimes the truth hurts more when it comes from someone you least expect." Without naming anyone, the comment was widely interpreted as being connected to Can's situation, and once again, theories exploded. Some argued that a close friend had betrayed his confidence. Others insisted it was a professional misunderstanding blown out of proportion. But the most striking theory suggested that the issue involved both personal and professional dimensions overlapping at the worst possible moment. With every speculation gaining momentum, the pressure on Can's team increased, yet no official response was given. This silence only fueled more drama, as the public watched every online movement, every deleted comment, every hour of no activity. It became clear that the mystery itself had become part of the story, turning the scandal into something larger than a single event, something reflective of deeper changes in Can's life and career. As the night deepened, one thing was undeniable. Whatever happened behind the scenes had shaken the image of calm and control that Can usually maintained. And while the world waited for clarity, the uncertainty surrounding him became the most talked about topic of the day, setting the stage for even bigger revelations ahead. As the night of January 23, 2026 unfolded, the situation surrounding Can Yaman took yet another unexpected turn, pushing the ongoing scandal narrative into even more dramatic territory. What had begun as whispers about a private dispute had now evolved into a multi-layered mystery involving conflicting reports, emotional undercurrents, and a growing silence from everyone directly involved. And with each passing hour, the absence of an official statement only made the public more convinced that something significant had truly happened behind the scenes. Late in the evening, a new claim emerged from a digital entertainment platform known for its accurate leaks. According to their report, the tension surrounding Can did not originate from a single moment, but rather from a series of events that gradually fractured the trust between him and someone he had relied on professionally for years. The article described this person as deeply integrated into his inner circle, which immediately set the internet ablaze with speculation. What caught everyone's attention was the phrasing, "The breaking point was not loud, but it was final." Those words suggested a quiet but decisive rupture, something that doesn't happen because of small misunderstandings but because of something that cuts deeper. At nearly the same time, an Italian commentator released a voice note on social media claiming to have spoken with someone who witnessed a tense exchange earlier this month. According to this account, the disagreement escalated after a confidential piece of information was brought into the discussion, something that Can never expected would be used against him in a moment of pressure. The commentator stopped short of describing the content of that information, but emphasized that Can's reaction was not anger, it was disappointment. This detail struck fans profoundly, because disappointment aligns much more closely with the emotional tone that Can's recent behavior has reflected, withdrawn posture, quiet exits, and captions hinting at betrayal rather than confrontation. Meanwhile, across various social platforms, fans began compiling timelines of the actor's recent activities, searching for patterns that might connect the dots. One viral post pointed out that Can had recently unfollowed several accounts he had been close to for years, something he rarely did impulsively. Another user noted that his last public appearance looked unusually reserved, with his smile fading quickly once cameras shifted away. These small observations, when combined with today's reports, painted a picture of someone going through an internal conflict far bigger than what the media initially assumed. Adding to the drama, a short message from a well-known producer surfaced online: "Some truths cannot be hidden forever." Without context, this statement might have been ignored, but posted in the middle of a scandal involving one of Italy's most talked-about actors, it immediately triggered a wave of theories. Some fans speculated that Can was preparing to expose something himself, while others believed the message hinted at an unavoidable public revelation connected to the ongoing tensions. In Turkey, late-night talk shows dedicated entire segments to the unfolding situation, debating whether Can would issue a response soon or continue with the silence that defined his day. Several analysts suggested that he might be taking time to assess the situation before speaking, especially if the events involved legal or contractual implications. Others insisted that the emotional aspect of the rumors, betrayal, disappointment, trust, meant that he was simply choosing to gather himself before making any public declaration. By midnight, all eyes were on his social media, waiting for even the slightest hint of movement. A story upload, a like, a comment, anything would have been enough to shift the narrative. Yet the silence remained unbroken, leaving millions wondering whether the truth would emerge tomorrow, next week, or whether the full story would never be publicly disclosed. But one thing had become absolutely clear. Whatever was happening in Can Yaman's world was not just another headline. It was something deeper, something personal, and something that had already left a visible mark on him. By the early hours of January 24, 2026, the scandal surrounding Can Yaman had reached a point where silence itself had become the loudest part of the story. Every platform, every news outlet, and every fan community was buzzing with theories, yet none of the circulating narratives felt complete, as if each new detail only deepened the mystery instead of solving it. What had become increasingly clear, however, was that this was no ordinary conflict. It was something that had shaken Can at his core, something that left visible cracks in the usually composed public persona he maintained. The final twist of the night came when a respected journalist released a late report claiming that the root of the tension was an irreversible break in loyalty. The phrasing sent shockwaves through social media. Loyalty is a word rarely used in casual disagreements. It speaks of closeness, trust, history. It hinted that the person involved in the conflict was not just a professional acquaintance but someone who had occupied a meaningful place in Can's life or career. The journalist added that the situation escalated the moment Can realized a private matter, something he considered off-limits, had been brought into a conversation without his consent. The sense of betrayal this created reportedly caused Can to withdraw immediately and reassess everything around him. As this interpretation spread, fans began revisiting every image and moment from the past month with fresh eyes. The sudden social media silence, the abrupt cancellations, the distant expression in public, everything now aligned with someone quietly battling emotional turbulence. A heartbreaking moment from a recent event resurfaced. A fan had asked Can if he was doing well, and instead of giving his usual enthusiastic reassurance, he had simply smiled softly and said, "I'm figuring things out." At the time, many assumed he was referring to work. Now, that moment felt like a confession that went unnoticed. In the midst of the chaos, another surprising development emerged. A source close to an Italian production hinted that Can had been preparing to take on a role that required intense emotional commitment, and the recent events might have collided directly with that preparation process. The source stated he needed stability around him. Instead, something shook the ground beneath him. This perspective added a new dimension to the story, suggesting that the scandal was not just about personal disappointment, but also about a professional disruption that affected his future plans. Late at night, a new wave of concern spread when fans noticed that Can had restricted comments on several posts. While some interpreted this as a protective measure against negativity, others feared it was a sign that he was struggling more deeply than he wanted to show. Many expressed their support with messages like "We're here for you, Can, take your time," and "You don't owe anyone an explanation." The emotional tone across social platforms shifted from curiosity to empathy, as people began to realize the situation was not entertainment but a personal difficulty unfolding in real time. Still, the absence of an official statement kept the tension alive. Nobody knew whether Can would eventually address the rumors, clarify the situation, or allow the story to fade on its own. But one thing had become undeniably clear: whatever happened behind the scenes had changed something fundamental in his world. The confident, expressive, and open Can Yaman that fans had known seemed to be standing at a crossroads, re-evaluating not only the people around him but also the direction he wanted to take moving forward. As the night came to a close, the scandal was no longer just a headline, it had become a turning point. And while the public waited for clarity, one question echoed louder than the rest: when the truth finally emerges, will it bring closure, or will it reveal a deeper story that has only just begun?